Taoqi is a broad blade wielding Havoc character that can shield, heal, and can also deal decent damage if built as a DPS. In this video, I will cover her kit, some hidden techs, best weapons, echoes, sequences, teams, rotations, and more. Without any further ado, let's jump right into it. Taoqi is a defense scaling character. All of her skills except her basic attack scale on defense. Using Taoqi's resonant skill restores a certain amount of her HP and generates 3 Rocksteady shield. The Rocksteady shield stays even if Taoqi leaves the field, and if the active character take damage. 1 Rocksteady shield is consumed to reduce the damage taken. This Rocksteady shield is a really important part of her kit. Taoqi's basic attacks are a 4-hit combo. Before starting with her 4-day circuit, it is important to know what strategic parry is. If you hold Taoqi's normal attack button, she enters a unique stance. During this time, she gets 35% damage reduction, and after 3 seconds, she will do the strategic parry attack. If Taoqi takes a hit during this stance, she will immediately do the strategic parry attack. Another way to trigger strategic parry is by using her elemental skill, right when the enemy is about to hit you. Now let's move on to her 4-day circuit. If Taoqi's 4th basic attack hits an opponent, all of Taoqi's Rocksteady shield will be converted to Resolving Caliber, which in simple terms is her 4-day circuit stacks. If a Rocksteady shield is consumed by taking damage, or if its duration expires, they will be converted into her 4-day circuit stacks. There's one more way to instantly get the 4-day circuit stacks that is mentioned nowhere in her skill description. It is by casting her intro skill. Casting the intro skill gives her all 3 stacks of her 4-day circuit, even without having any Rocksteady shield. I don't know how they managed to not mention such an important info. At this point, I think someone is doing it on purpose to sabotage this game. Anyways, back to her 4-day circuit. After casting the strategic parry attack, or after her intro skill is triggered, her next 3 normal attacks will be enhanced. If these enhanced normal attacks hit an enemy, she will consume her 4-day circuit stacks and give a shield which increases based on the number of enhanced normal attacks hit. Ideally, you would want to land all 3 of her normal attacks for maximum shield. The shield scales on her defense and has a pretty good duration of 18 seconds. The intro skill gives all 3 stacks and enhances her attacks as well. So you would always want to intro with Taoqi, get the 3 4-day stacks and do 3 normal attack hits to get the shield. Do note that if you do any action other than her basic attacks after the intro or strategic parry, you will lose the enhanced basic attacks. So you need to make sure you can land all the 3 hits on the enemy when you intro with her. I do hope that this is a bug because it just makes her more sluggish as you can't dodge, and if you do, you lose the shield and some damage, unless you are good at parrying attacks to get the enhanced basic attacks again. If the enemy is about to do a fatal attack, it becomes crucial to dodge the attack, even if it costs you your enhanced basic attacks. Her Resonance Liberation is a nuke damage and also restores 20 Concerto energy, which is going to be important for Taoqi as her Concerto energy generation is very slow. Her Outrow skill gives 38% resonance skill damage deep into the next character you switch into. This buff gets removed if the character is switched out. It is great for characters that deal a considerable amount of damage from their resonance skills like Chixia. Her first inherent skill increases the defense of any character under the effect of Rocksteady shield. That is her resonance skill by 15%. This is great for defense scaling characters. And second inherent passive restores her stamina when strategic parry is successfully triggered. There are 3 main ways to use Taoqi. First is as a pure sustained support where she is used for her shields. However, she is quite slow unless you manage to get an intro on her. So your first rotation, you will have to go without any shield and rely on your dodging skill and the damage mitigation from Taoqi's resonance skill. But still, she can be used as a support. Second one is as a quick swap DPS where you swap into her with her intro and use her enhanced basic attacks, resonance skill, liberation, echo skill, and swap her out. I personally recommend going for this playstyle as it is much easier to play. And the last is as a sub DPS to make use of her Outrow skill buff. However, I wouldn't recommend going for this playstyle unless you have the Discord Broadblade or her 5th sequence, as Taoqi's Concerto energy region is very slow. Moving on to her skill leveling priority. For support Taoqi, you can just level the 4-day circuit to maximize the shield. If you want to level other skill as well, then you can level the liberation and the skill, but they can be skipped. For the DPS variant, level her 4-day circuit and liberation, followed by her resonant skill. You can level the intro skill as well to maximize her damage. The basic attacks can be skipped. Moving on to her weapons. The best weapon to use for support or sub-DPS buffer Taoqi would be the Discord. This weapon provides energy regen, which is great, but the main focus is on its passive that provides Concerto energy. Taoqi's Concerto energy restoration is quite slow. This weapon helps alleviate that problem, allowing you to activate her outrow skill faster. But unfortunately, this is a gacha weapon, so everyone will not have it. You can use Jian's signature weapon, Verdant Summit, or the Dauntless Evernight to get more damage from Taoqi. Even though the passive of Autumn Trace is wasted on Taoqi, you can use it for the crit rate. Originite Type 1 is a 3-star offensive weapon option as it provides defense. If you lack energy regen, you can use the Broad Blade of Voyager. The Resonance energy regen from its substats can help reduce her energy requirements. It is important to have 100% uptime on Taoqi's burst, as her burst provides 20 Concerto energy, which is very important. For pure support, where Taoqi will mostly be off-field, you will need around 160% energy regen or higher. For sub-DPS/buffer variant, as we will be using the Heron Echo skill, which restores energy, and Taoqi will have a bit more field time as you will need to fill her Concerto bar. You can get away with around 130 to 140% energy regen. This numbers can easily be met by using the Discord Broadblade, which you should always use if you wish to go for this playstyle. And for Quick Swap variant, where you will constantly be switching into Taoqi whenever you can get an intro on her, try to get around 120% energy regen. Moving on to her Echo sets and skills. For the support variant, the best set would be the Rejuvenating Glow set. Taoqi can have 100% uptime on this set, as she can easily activate it just by using her Resonance skill. And the best Echo skill for this set will be the Bellborn Giacellone, even if you are not using Taoqi purely as a support. This set can be her best if no one else in the team is using it. For the sub-DPS variant, where you want to give Taoqi's outrow buff to the main DPS, the best set to use will be the Moonlit Clouds with the Impermanence Heron Echo skill. This set and Echo skill buffs the next character you switch into while having a full Concerto bar. For the Quick Swap DPS variant as well, I recommend using a supportive set option like the Rejuvenating Glow or the Moonlit Clouds, since Taoqi can miss her enhanced basic attacks, which results in DPS loss, so it's better if you can at least buff the other DPS. And the main Echo skill will be the Bellborn if no one is using it, or the Heron skill. However, if you wish to maximize her personal damage, you can go with the 5-piece Sun-Sinking Ellipse or 2-piece Sun-Sinking Ellipse and 2-piece Lingering Tunes with the Dreamless Echo skill. This set maximizes Taoqi's damage, and the Dreamless Echo skill is unarguably the best Echo skill in the game, as it can be easily swap cancelled and also generates a good amount of resonance energy. The 2-piece combination is more consistent, as sometimes you won't be able to use her basic attacks if the boss moves a lot. Alternatively, you can mix 2-piece Moonlit Clouds with the Sun-Sinking Ellipse or the Lingering Tunes. If you are using Taoqi as a support or buffer with another defense or HP scaling character, you should go for a set option like 2-piece Moonlit with 2-piece Sun-Sinking Ellipse with a Bellborn Echo skill, instead of using the Rejuvenating Glow or Moonlit Clouds as these set buff attack percent. Moving on to her Echo stats. For support variant, where you only care about her shield and not damage, go with defense on the 4-cost Echo. On the 3-cost Echo, you can go defense or energy regen to meet her energy requirements, and defense on 1-cost Echo. And for substats, look for energy regen, defense percent, and flat defense. If you want to get damage from Taoqi, go for crit rate or damage on the 4-cost Echo. For the 3-cost, you can use double Havoc damage or 1 Havoc damage and 1 defense percent. Both are pretty close. If you lack energy from substats, you can use an energy regen piece as well, and defense percent on the 1-cost Echoes. For substats, energy regen until required, followed by crit stats, defense percent, flat defense and liberation damage bonus and basic attack damage bonus can be decent too. Moving on to her sequences. Taoqi's sequences are quite nice, increasing her shielding and damaging capabilities. However, she has no sequence that can give team-wide buff, unlike other 4-star characters that have attack buffing sequences. Taoqi's first sequence increases the shield she provides by 40%. The second sequence increases the crit rate and crit damage of her Resonance Liberation by 20%, which is great for quick swap or sub DPS variant. Her third sequence increases the duration of Rocksteady Shield from her Resonance skill by 30 seconds. The fourth sequence restores 25% of Taoqi's HP and gives her a 50% defense increase if she triggers Strategic Parry. This sequence is situationally good as you will not be able to trigger the Strategic Parry for every rotation. Her S5 increases the damage of her enhanced basic attacks and restores 20 energy when it hits. That is a total of 60 resonance energy, which allows us to do another ultimate cast to help with the Concerto energy region. And her last sequence increases her basic and heavy attack damage by 40% when under the effect of her shield. Moving on to her team comps. For the support variant, you can use Taoqi as a flex unit for the last slot of almost any team. She is not the best character for this role, but can still be used as she can utilize the rejuvenating glow set and provide shields. I recommend pairing Taoqi with characters that can fill their Concerto energy bar fast, as you will be able to intro with Taoqi sooner to get her shield. And for sub DPS / buffer role where you want to utilize her outrow buff, you would want to pair her with characters that can deal considerable amount of damage from their resonance skill. Chixia and Spectro Rover deals a significant amount of damage from their resonance skill. Dungeon or Havoc Rover can also benefit from this buff. The shield also boosts Dungeon's survivability. Yunwu deals a significant portion of damage from his resonance skill as well, but he is more suited in a quick swap playstyle. And on the last slot, you can use another sub DPS or buffer that can fill their Concerto bar fast like Verena, Mortefi, Baiji, so that you can get an intro on Taoqi faster. For the quick swap DPS variant, you can pair her with another quick swap DPS character that don't need much field time or characters that have windows that can be swap cancelled, like Yunwu, Encore, Havoc Rover, Yinlin. Mortefi and Sanhua can fill their Concerto energy bar very fast, which makes them a good pair with Taoqi as you can intro with her more often. Moving on to her rotations. These are the best rotations that I found after playing with her for a while. If you know any better rotations, do let me know in the comments. For the support role, if you wish to get her shield right from the start, it will take up a huge amount of time. I start by using her Resonance skill, Liberation, and the Bell Echo skill, then switch to the other characters. You don't have any shields, but you do get some damage mitigation, thanks to Taoqi's Rocksteady shields, but make sure to dodge especially the big hits. When I can get an intro on Taoqi, I switch into her. Use 3 basic attacks. Use her skill and Liberation again if it's ready. Use the Bell Echo skill whenever it is ready. Then go back to your other characters. Do keep in mind if you miss any of the basic attack, it will result in weaker shield. In worst case, you won't get any shield. So in such case, you will need to trigger a strategic parry and do 3 basic attack hits to get the shield. Or you can go another rotation without her shield and just rely on her damage reduction. I tried using Taoqi as a sub DPS where you want to give the outrow buff to the main DPS, but honestly, she felt extremely slow. She can't fill her Concerto energy bar on time without the Discord weapon or her S5. Also, there's a high chance that you will miss some of the enhanced normal attacks, resulting in less Concerto energy. Your rotation will go like, start with Taoqi's skill and burst. Go to your other characters, get an intro on Taoqi and use 3 basic attacks. Then use her Resonance skill. If you have her S5, you can get her Resonance Liberation back if you manage to land all 3 of her enhanced basic attack hits. If her Concerto bar is almost filled where she will need only 1 or 2 normal attacks, you can proceed to fill it completely and trigger her outrow. However, if it requires a lot more Concerto energy than that, I recommend skipping her outrow and use it in next rotation. If you are a pro player and can time your parry to counter enemies' attacks, it can help you fill the Concerto bar faster, and is helpful if you miss any of the enhanced basic attacks after her intro. Without her S5 or the Discord weapon, you will mostly face the issue of filling her Concerto energy bar, so in such cases it's better to use her as a quick swap DPS. And for a quick swap playstyle, you intro into Taoqi whenever possible, use 3 normal attacks, Resonance skill, Liberation, and swap out. Use the Echo skill when it's ready and do swap cancels if possible. This is the playstyle I usually recommend, as you won't face much issues even if you miss some of your enhanced basic attacks. Taoqi is like an all-in-one character, kind of like Jinzhou. She can heal herself, give shield, damage reduction, buff from outrow and can also deal some good damage if built as a DPS. She can easily use the rejuvenating glow set and buff the whole team. She can also counter some big hits if her parry is timed correctly. However, her concerto energy regen is very slow, which makes it difficult to take benefit from her outrow skill. She is more suited as a quick swap DPS rather than main on field carry, as her basic attack scale on attack and you want to build defense on Taoqi. There's a high chance you can miss Taoqi's enhanced basic attacks after her intro skill if the enemy moves a lot, resulting in weaker shield, less concerto and less damage. While she may not be the best character to invest in, you can still build her if you like her. If you have high sequences on Taoqi, investing on her is not a terrible idea. And that's all for this video. Don't forget to like and share the video and subscribe for more Wuthering Waves content. Thanks for watching.